Alex here. It's another friggin' hot day today in Toronto, Ontario, at the north end of the city, aka the North York Borough. Just got at the Orion 7 Next Generation Hybrid 1358. This was only a 90-second ride as I took it from Glencairn station. I could have walked here, but I really don't want to be walking in this heat. But yeah, just around the corner from my place here at Dufferin Street and Glencairn Avenue in the Glen Park neighborhood. Glen Park is rather huge though. It expands from like Caledonia to the west and all the way to Bathurst in the east. So I'm gonna do a walking video here in this 31 plus Celsius hot day today, being a Sunday, August 7th, 2022. And this is a relatively quiet neighborhood full of some like homes like these and newer ones like the 2010s, maybe even 20 years earlier. And this is basically a post-war development neighborhood, as all of these homes here, that means they were built after the Second World War, and that's when, you know, after the Second World War, many people wanted to move here to neighborhoods like this. So I guess you would say this is a middle to upper class neighborhood. Some of the houses here are about hundreds of thousands of dollars, some even $1 million, as there's a lot of modern homes. And the thing is, we're also not too far from a very affluent neighborhood called Forest Hill, which is in the old city of Toronto. So Glencairn Avenue is basically an arterial road, at least one of the main roads that go through Glen Park. Not too far from here is Glencairn subway station, where I was like less than 5 minutes ago. And of course, this is kind of like my area. I'm more like in the York Borough, but I'm very close to this neighborhood. At least I'm like halfway between Glencairn and Eglinton West. But I always use Glencairn if I'm using the subway. If I'm using the bus, I go to Eglinton West, because what's the point of going to Glencairn and having to like wait a few minutes? Next thing you know, I'll be missing 32 buses every now and then. So yeah, I wasn't sure if I wanted to do a walking video along Glencairn, but I'm more motivated to do a lot of residential streets, especially in suburban areas like this. And even though I'm like right next to, well, I'm in York physically when I live there, but even though I'm like right next to Old Toronto, North York, maybe I can consider myself a North Yorker. But in real life, I've always lived in York my entire life. As we were passing Capitol Avenue, so that bus, as you just saw at 1358, it's gonna loop around Caledonia and then it's gonna come back here. But it is hot as hell. Oh my god, it is friggin' hot. As I'm trying not to swear. So maybe for like the first half, I'm gonna stay on the north side, and then when I get to Glencairn station, I'm gonna walk to the south side, make it all even, and then after that, I'm just gonna take the bus up to the metro at Bathurst and Lawrence, because I want to get a few things. I did not have any plans to venture out far today, because yesterday I went to downtown, had lunch with my mom, went to Little Canada, then I shot some videos, and I was still in pain. I got mosquito bites when I went to the woods in Wellington County, which is about an hour west of Toronto, and they were kind of painful. And then my legs started to hurt last night, so I just went to bed early and rested, and then as I woke up this morning, I feel very fine. Some of the homes here are typical cookie cutter style houses. But I'm all better now, like at least much better than the past few days. It's just really hot, and he's just putting up a damper. I feel like having ice cream every day. But I bet you the metro is going to be nice and air conditioned inside. So at some point the bus is going to come back here, but it's probably going to be laying over, as it always does at the end of each you know, at the end of their routing. But the only thing is, there's nowhere for the driver to use the washroom. So probably the next, the only place that driver's gonna go take a pee is at Davisville Station, which is the eastern end of this route. Here's Danesbury Avenue, and up ahead of the lights is where I'm pretty much close to, Marley Avenue. And of course, I lived along Marley for the past, I would say, 13 and a half years. But this is now my permanent residence, so I mean, I'll occasionally be going back to Keels, Eglinton West, but I'm really tired of having to switch homes. And besides, now I'm an adult, I can make my own decisions, eh? And besides, you know, when I start university, I want to be like very close to the subway, as you know, Line 5 is not going to be open in time for when I start classes. So as long as I'm, well, on average, it takes about I would say 15. Okay, it's not about a 15-20 minute ride from like Eglinton West to, let's say, like Blackthorn Avenue or Keel Street. But at the same time, Eglinton's always been under construction, and it's still going to be in bad shape. But I believe in the city to, you know, try to like fix our roads. But just see here, look at all these cracks and of course the potholes, all that stuff. And you know, the city's gonna pay a lot of money to fix our roads, even though they have done a lot of pothole blitzes over the weekend. Whew. Also, North York is so huge. Of course, again, it is the north end of Toronto. But the borough, the southern border like varies as it connects York, Old Toronto, and East York. Eastern boundaries is at Victoria Park, where it meets Scarborough, and the Humber River, where it meets Etobicoke. So it's so huge. It is so huge. All right, so coming up to Marley Avenue here, they're building new apartments on this corner right there. So basically, I think this used to be a small-owned business, and then it turned into a presentation center to advertise for, you know, affordable living in this neighborhood. And they finally tore it down earlier this year, so now they're gonna start work on the condos. And let me tell you, if they take long to build the Eglinton Crosstown LRT, then how long does it take to build one single apartment or condo? It just doesn't take long at all. And of course, just to the south of here are some high-rises that have been here since the 1970s. And it was built because, it was always about the talks of transit planning and all that stuff. Okay, I'm gonna cross to the other side. Beat this light. There's Lawrence Avenue West. That building right there is the Lawrence Square Shopping Center, or known as the Lawrence Allen Center. So I'm gonna go off topic with the with the high-rise for a second, and also show you this here. As this here used to be pretty much a popular plaza. It had a Chinese restaurant that I used to go to all the time. It was called Li Cheng, and it closed 3 years ago. It was right over there at that Rise construction offices. And then there's somebody over there. He's probably watching me, but so I'm just gonna keep going. But after leaving the sign intact, they finally took it down earlier this year, and at some point they're going to get rid of this entire block. As you can see, there's a city proposal notice. So now I'm on the south side of Glencairn. Interestingly enough, the city has a lot of roads and streets that begin with Glen, especially around here, mainly because this is the Glen Park neighborhood. You got Glencairn Avenue, Glenmount, Glen Cedar, Glen Grove, Glen Park Avenue. There's so many of them, I bet you before these new homes were built, I think they're all bungalows like this. So you got a mix of two-story homes and bungalows and stuff like that. And we're coming up to the main entrance of Glencairn subway station, which I rarely use unless I'm taking the 14 bus. But because I'm more closer to the Viewmount Avenue entrance, which is basically the south end of the station. This here used to be a church of some sorts. It's a Toronto Theosophical Society. Here's Viewmount Avenue. So to walk here, I took this little path here. So there's Viewmount Avenue, and that's how you would get over to the south side of the station. There's also 2 parks on either side of Allen Road. Speaking of which, we are going over the Allen Expressway. And it's very unique to have, you know, the subway running in the median of an expressway. It's like you're in Chicago, Atlanta, or maybe even Tokyo. It's starting to get cloudy over there, but it's still sunny over here. There's the CN Tower, and I'll look down Allen Road. I was just here 10 minutes ago. I was waiting for the bus right there, and here comes 1358 again. Pretty sure the driver just saw me. He's like, what is he doing here? What a coincidence. I was just writing her, and look where we are. We meet again. We meet again. She's gonna wonder, why am I back here? I was just at Glencairn. Off she goes to Davisville Station. Okay, so this roof here, they recently just installed the colorful skylights. It was like during the pandemic. So they've been doing construction on the station for the past, I would say, 3 years. Because I think back when the station opened, it had a skylight like this, but then it lost its touch, so it became just like clear skylights. And then they decided to build it over and make it a permanent installation. So that is definitely right for sure. And now they're adding elevators here. Glencairn is going to be one of the last stations in the system to be equipped with elevators. Of course, this station opened in 1978. And now we are halfway through this video. Can't believe it. I know. That same driver probably. Pretty sure she saw me. He's like, what are you doing over here at Glen? And Viewmount Avenue continues right here. And there's another path that will lead you down to Viewmount Park. Okay, so as I was saying here, so back to, you know, why those high-rises were built. I know a lot of people who live in those complexes, and I am one of them. So, is that a rabbit? I literally saw a rustling noise, and I saw something moving there. It's probably a rabbit, because squirrels would just like run away at the tree. This neighborhood is filled with squirrels, also rabbits as well, and occasionally some stray cats. The house looks a bit run down, eh? This one here is for sale. So again, back to what I was saying about the high-rises. They were built in like the early 1970s. Basically, they're all in the neighborhoods of Briar Hill, Belgravia, which is where I actually live. And they were built like long before the subway came up here. And it was interestingly enough that the city was, actually no, I think the city of North York and Metropolitan Toronto, they were debating if they should have Glencairn Station here or at where Glencairn Avenue ends at Yonge Street. Because at Yonge Street there's like a lot more activity over there than here. But this is a high density neighborhood. A lot of people really needed like a good access. So technically this station here wasn't supposed to be built, but after objections over at Yonge Street back in the mid-70s when they were, you know, building the subway extension, they just left it empty. So there's no station there, but luckily we have a subway station right here that I'm very close to and that, you know, many people can access. Here at Glencairn Baptist Church. It is Sunday, so of course there would be Sunday service here, but I'll probably wait after that as it's almost 1 p.m. Actually, it is 1 p.m. as I'm looking at my watch here. Still haven't got a good thumbnail shot yet. And we're going to end this up at Bathurst Street. Of course, right after Bathurst Street, Glencairn Avenue hits the old city of Toronto and enters the affluent neighborhoods of Linden Park and Bedford Park. Also affluent neighborhood. It's not as rich as Forest Hill, but it's relatively close. Feels like every time I talk about this, about the swearing and occasional foul language, I am trying really hard not to do that in my videos, but I will occasionally. You know, if you want to like vent your frustrations, I think it's like the healthiest thing to do if you want to point out something. But there's still a lot of you snowflakes who don't like when I do that, so I'm doing it for you guys. But you can't tell me what to do on my own channel. It's my channel, my rules. But there's also kids that watch this, and you know, I don't really do it as much as I used to when I started making videos. Otherwise, I'd be like crazy, and mind you, I had deleted a few videos because I was swearing so friggin' much. Especially, you know, over like almost a year ago, I got off at DuPont Station because I was pissed. Like my crazy neighbor was like after me. Actually, I haven't seen her in a really long time. I don't know what's happened to her, but I kept the video up for a few months, and then like after some of them, I really wasn't happy with it. I didn't get any like negative comments from my swearing, but I still deleted anyway because it was just way too much. And there's even some videos that were failed because I was doing the same thing. But it's only the videos where I, you know, sometimes they have like language warnings of a title or description. I kept those up, those rants, because this is show that people are fucked. So there you go. But I'm gonna try my best to really watch my mouth, but I'm not actually gonna stop doing that because, you know, it's my channel. If you don't like what I say, or if you're really offended by my occasional swearing, don't watch my videos. As I always say, here is the 2006. Hey, I was just on this bus recently, the 1084. So that's the 2006 Orion 7, the original ATV, which will be on the chopping block very soon. Actually, some of the buses have already started retiring, and they're exclusively based out of the Mount Dennis division. They used to be all over Malvern routes, I think Wilson as well, but they're just basically Mount Dennis routes, pretty much for the rest of their confinement. But yeah, I'll just swear when it's appropriate. And I'm also like limiting it on that because there's a lot of family members who are starting to watch this, and also like close friends who actually don't swear too, but still don't like it when I do it. So out of respect, I'm gonna try not to do it as much. So yeah, just really want to be a bit more positive in my videos and not look at the negative side. And it's true, every time I go on like a little rant, I'm always blaming like, I don't think it's good to blame, but I always talk about, you know, my influencer, Elton McFall, aka Retro Old School in Montreal, who who kind of does the same thing, and but I am just myself. I speak the way I do in real life, so and most of the time I talk about this subject, I'm like, you can F off, you can go somewhere else. I think the person that should really go to hell is Mr. Bum Tickler, because what he did on Hamilton Transit was fucking stupid. He never should have done that. What a fucking piece of shit. That asshole shouldn't be roaming the streets. I can't believe he's back on the streets, fuck. Well, I already talked about him on Tuesday, but yeah, that's my occasional swearing, so again, if you don't like it, well, you know what to do, unsub. Go watch something else. Don't waste my time, because you're not forced to watch my channel. And if you're forced to watch my channel, why are you still watching it? Because you're a snowflake. See, I'm being nice this time. I am being nice. You're truly being eccentric. So that is true. Yes, I know I've gotten a lot of comments for the language, but it's not really recent. It's just very once in a while. And also what even triggers me the most when people tell me to chill out. There's too many things to complain about. I'm an expert at venting and all that shit. So too bad. You're not forced to watch the channel. But hey, I am a nice guy. I'm a nice guy, but I can swear if I want to. Anyway. So here's Bathurst Street coming up. As I'm gonna wrap up this video, then hop on the 7 bus and take it to Lawrence Avenue and check out the metro, just in case I want to get anything. Let's get a thumbnail here, man. As it's now 1:12 p.m. There's a toilet down there. Who wants a toilet? Who wants a free toilet? Any plumbers can come here at 579 Glencairn Avenue, North York, Ontario. Well, it's Toronto, Ontario, but still, North York, Toronto. You're the person you are. Oh, is that fire truck coming this way? I hope it is. Oh, it is! Holy crap. And is he... No, he's going. Hope he doesn't blare his siren on me. That actually makes me want to jump, but... Ooh-wee. And these cars here, they're definitely pulling over. It's a law here. You gotta pull over when you see flashing lights or you hear the sirens. But most of the time, the drivers pull over. Sometimes they don't, and that's illegal. Wonder what call they're responding to. Okay. Oh, just as I'm about to check when my next bus is coming, I just missed it, but the 7 bus is a 10-minute route, so, well, 10-minute frequency, so, but at the same time, it's a Sunday. I mean, I'm kind of tempted to check, because, you know, not all, everything is accurate on a Sunday. And this neighborhood is predominantly, I forgot to mention the demographics, it's predominantly Jewish, European. That's why there's a lot of Jewish education and institutions here. Like there's a Hebrew school just down the street from here. So, and that's why, you know, there's a lot of people wearing their religious clothing. And it's also concentrated in Forest Hill to the south of here. Okay, I wonder where the bus stop is. So, right where they're building new apartments here, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, they demolished an office building. And that had a Bolorama there. My dad used to go there with his friends. But sadly, I never went there. Or I never got to go there. And bowling alleys aren't really a thing here in the city anymore. The only active one I know is at Rexdale and Kipling. But check Google Street View, come down to this intersection. But this is a rendering of what the apartments will look like. Glen Hill. And then there's another apartment that will be under construction on the other side of here. And I don't remember what used to be on that side, maybe just nothing. And that used to be a Shoppers Drug Mart, and they closed it, but not the Cash for Gold store. Look at that, you can even see the remnants from the sign fading away. I haven't done a walking video down this part of Bathurst in a while. I won't do that today because, you know, how it's really hot outside. I'm not really in the mood to make any more videos for the day. Sunday is normally my rest day. Like, I mean, there's stuff going on Sundays, but really, it's just my quiet day. Just most of the time alone to myself. Especially that, you know, it's really hot outside. But I'm gonna hop on the 7 bus and go to the metro. It's just not too far from here up the street. So, yeah, guys. So, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, please leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. As always, stay tuned for more videos. Check out my others as well. So stay cool, stay safe, all the best, take care. Adios, au revoir, sayonara, goodbye. Peace out, as I always say.